Most High is my rock.
My rock.
The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.
My rock.
The Most High is my rock. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutling. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you
Keep the Bible on cop.
The Most High is my rock. Rock. The Most High is my rock.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
And welcome to the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're located at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. Our class times are Monday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And Shabbat morning class, which you're in right now, goes from 10 to 2. We also have another location out in Virginia. Their address is 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. Their class times are Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We also have another location out in San Antonio, Texas. Their address is 4444 Walden Road, Suite 201, San Antonio, Texas, 78218. We also have the Blog Talk Radio with Priest Mashaba, and you can find him at blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. We also have other avenues of getting the word. We have other YouTube channels, so check them out. 5 Minutes of Wisdom, Israelite Media Corp.
Nice.
So if you can like, share, and subscribe to those as well. This channel, and especially the Virginia channel, we're still trying to get the subscriptions up there. So please send them to your friends, get them to subscribe to the link, your family members, co-workers. Also, Israel, they're accepting orders. They're introducing the Fringed Up subscription. If you haven't heard about it, you can catch it. The Fringed Up subscription, you get a t-shirt fringed, and you get a headband, a brand new headband for $75. So the monthly subscription is $75, and every month you'll get a different type of headband, a different type of t-shirt. Or if you just want to get just a t-shirt, you can sign up for that, and that's only $35. You know, something easy, set up. You don't have to think about going out and shopping or going out trying to get some shirts fringed. They just come in automatically monthly. We're starting on a new Unity garment for September. Yeah, September, and it comes with a headband? Yeah, includes a headband, a t-shirt, and camo pants. And that's for $160. So you can check it out if you want to be in unity with us here. I would highly suggest to go ahead and check that out. You can hit us up on Fringed Up, or you can hit us up on. You can call a priest. The Hebrew Academy. We started the Hebrew Academy. It's every Tuesday and Thursday. We're doing it here in Houston. So if you're not here in Houston and you do want to be included, please hit up a priest and let them know that you want to be included in the Hebrew Academy if you're not here in Houston, and we'll add you onto the Zoom call that we do. If you're here in Houston or surrounding areas, you know where we're at. Come on by to the school, and you can participate in drills where we go through different breakdowns, get you sharp in the scriptures, get you sharp in teaching the word, not just sitting back and learning the word.
Right.
If you need to reach a priest, though, you can reach Priest Kazakia at 757-300-4047, or you can reach Priest Quatzazat, which is on my far left, at 303-557-5878. Excuse me, 8979. We also have a business, Sweet Ambiance, where you can get your aromatherapeutic oils, your body fragrances, your cologne fragrances, your perfume fragrances, anything when it comes to smelling good, we got you covered. So check us out at Sweet Ambiance. It also helps support the school as well. If you need to make any donations, you can hit us up on the Wells Fargo. The account number should be there on the screen, or you can Zelle it to us. We do appreciate when you guys do drop your alms or donations. We just ask that you don't drop it on the Google because
No. They can send it to the Google.
They can send it to Google?
They can send it to the Google.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean not the Google, I mean YouTube.
Oh, the YouTube, yes.
That you don't drop it on the YouTube because the YouTube takes a cut of it. So, you know, if you really want to make your donation be more effective, just send it to us. Send it to the Zelle, or send it to the Google, or send it to the Wells Fargo. And that's it for the announcements. You know, how we do on the Shabbat. We go into the morning prayers, and then we get into the reading.
Con. So I imagine Wafanya Yerushalayim, which means to stand and face.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
East. Stand and face Jerusalem.
For the east.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
And just for everybody new that's in class or online, we say the prayers in Hebrew, and everything's translated into English, so that way, like the scriptures say, you don't sound like a barbarian. The Bible says when you speak in an unknown language or in a different tongue that you translate what you say. So we're going to be speaking some Hebrew, but then we'll translate everything from Hebrew into English. All right? The fence? No. Go ahead. Wow, what's up?
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahushai.
Bahashem Yahushai.
Bahawa'ah. Matalanawa. Award. Zayawam. The water. Aman.
And that's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the light this day. Thank you, so be it.
And the light represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. And the lighting is also the lighting of the candles. And you got Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16. It says, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Barakatah Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushai. Bahawa'ah. Matalanawa. Rayach. Me'achachab. The water. Aman.
And that's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the sweet savor. Thank you, so be it. And the frankincense and myrrh represents our prayers going up to the Most High as a sweet savor. It says in Psalms 141, verse 2, "Let my prayers be set before you as incense."
God. Bahashem Yahushai. Bahawa'ah. Matalanawa. Hashabbat. Bashalom. The water. Aman.
And that's bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
This is Psalms chapter 121 in Hebrew. Anashab,
Ainashab,
Ayanyam Yab,
Ayanyam Yab,
Al Hahoryam,
Al-Hahoryam,
Na'ayah, Yabawa'ah,
Yabawa'ah,
Isaiah,
Isaiah,
Yabawa'ah, Mayahawa, Sha'aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, La'ah, Yanathan, Namawat, Regalia, Gala'ah, Nawam, Shashawamar, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Yashamoria, Yahweh, Tazalia, Al, Yam Yad, Hashamash, Yala'ah, Hakayah, Bayawum, Wala'ah, Halabanah, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamoria, Makol, Rai, Yashamor, Yapashya, Yahweh, Yashamor, Hawalakia, Wabawa'aya, Ma'aidan, Wa'ai, Aman.
Psalm chapter 121. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Shemaya Sha'Allah, Yahweh Allah Hayanoah, Yahweh Achai, Shemaya Sha'Allah, Yahweh Allah Hayanoah, Yahweh Achai, Shemaya Sha'Allah, Yahweh Allah Hayanoah, Yahweh Achai.
And that translates, Hear Israel, Yahweh our power, Yahweh is one.
This is the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abba Noah, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Hayah, Shemkav, Yahweh, Malak Wadkav, Daba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lacham, Ko, Yawum, Masalach Noah, Chabawat Noah, Kasalach Noah, Chabawat Yenoah, Wala'ah, Dabayanoah, Wanasaya One, Abo, Awashai Noah, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakah, Amalakwat, Wa'ala, Wa'adaparad, Wa'aiwalani, Amar.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Ha Aishara Matazawat, which means the Ten Commandments. La'ah, Yahayah, Lakah, Alahayim, Acharyim, Al-Panyah.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
La'ah, Ta'isha, Lakab, Pasol, Wala'ah, Ta'ibadam.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
La'ah, Talakwak'at, Shum, Yahweh, Bashawah.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Zakar, Hayawum, Hashabat, Lakwadashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Kabad, Abaka,
Wa'amaka. Honor thy father and thy mother.
La'ah, Baratazak,
Thou shalt not murder.
La'ah, Dana'ah,
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
La'ah, Daganab,
Thou shalt not steal.
La'ah, Da'inab,
Shakur. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
La'ah, Tachamad, Kol, Asherah, Lara'ayka.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Yeshavim, which means to be seated. Scrolls.
You said what?
I said my scrolls.
Yeah. Please.
Oh, yeah. Look back. Go on.
All right, Shalom, Yasharallah. Welcome to another Shabbat class here. We got a nice reading set up today. It should be quick. So after the reading, we can go out and do some street speaking. But before we start the reading, we're going to be starting in where's paper at?
She got it.
Oh, it's like, yeah, you can look at it. It's all good.
Deuteronomy 11.
We're going to be starting in Deuteronomy chapter 11, and I think verse 16. But before we start the reading, can anybody give like a quick summary of what the reading was about last Shabbat? Does anybody remember? Just a quick recap. And it's easy. I mean, it's Deuteronomy. It's the beginning chapters of Deuteronomy. So, I mean, the recap from last Sabbath is pretty much us going over in the beginning stages of Deuteronomy. Moses was just reiterating pretty much all the laws and the history of what we've been going through since we left the time in Egypt up until this point right here. Because remember, that generation, we're about to enter into our land of Israel right now, where we're at in Deuteronomy. So Moses is just reiterating for the new generation that wasn't around to see all those things that had happened. Because remember, everybody from 20 years old and under, they weren't going to make it into this new kingdom. So
they did make it.
Oh, I'm sorry, 20 years and under made it. 20 years old and upwards didn't make it into the new kingdom. So Moses is pretty much just reiterating, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing right now too, is just reiterating as well. So let's salute up the first reader. Who wants to read? Brother Lewis.
God. You want me to do this? Or you got that?
Nah, I got it. I've been whack.
Shabbat Yahawada Ban Yasharallah.
Louis Shabbat Yahawada Ban Yasharallah. Men of Israel, Imadim. Barak.
Yahawah Shem Yashab Brakatam.
Yahawah Shem Yashab Brakatam.
Once again, for anybody in class that's new, online, what he said was, and each brother that comes up is going to repeat the same thing. He stated his registry. He said his name, Lewis. Shabbat Tashal is tribe of. Yahawada is Judah. Ban Yasha'Allah, son of Israel. The reading is broken into 7 different portions, so it's going to be 7 readers. So you'll hear that 5 times. 5 different brothers will come up, state their name, and then we salute them. And he said to us, God, in the name of Christ, bless you. And we said it back, God, in the name of Christ, bless you. Okay. All right, so where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26, sir.
Right. Yeah, like he was saying earlier, you know, Moses had to recap history for this younger generation that their parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts waxed old in the 40-year walk in the wilderness. So this new generation is going into the promised land. So Moses kind of, you know, he has to remind them of the things, the struggles they went through to get to the promised land, to not forsake it, and the things that they were gonna be encountered with going forward. So, you know, he had to put them in that mind of, you know, it's not kick it time, it's not chill time. We got a lot of work to do still. Going into Canaan, it wasn't going to be an easy thing. Right? We had to go into Canaan. We literally had to fight. We were going to have to fight for that land.
That's right.
So he had to put them in that mind of, you know, think about it. Why does America through all your grade school career make sure that they give you history class?
So you can learn their history.
Well, yeah, obviously, so you can learn their history, but
Forget yours.
doesn't it show you that there's something significant about learning history? Just in general, there's something significant about that. What do they say? You don't know where you, if you don't know where you come,
You don't know where you're going
No,
unless
so
you
you
came
know where you-
from.
so you know where you come from. We both mess it up.
You don't know where you're going unless you know where you came
Coming from, right. So obviously, American history, they switch up the facts, they change things, but I'm just dealing with history as a whole. Why is history such a thing that? And it's funny because we went to this. Didn't we talk about this yesterday? Go to Romans 15 verse 4. We talked about this yesterday, right?
Yeah, we did.
They're on my trip.
We didn't go to Romans 15 before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Oh, don't mention it.
A fourth time? And
mentioned it,
we
but we
went
didn't
there, we read it. And then go to Jeremiah 16:16.
Romans
With the both of
chapter
them.
15 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
Whatsoever things were written aforetime
Right.
were written for our learning.
Right. See, Moses was trying to put them in that mind to learn what was going on with their forefathers, learn where they came from and where they were headed. Go ahead.
That we, through patience,
That we do what?
patience,
Go ahead.
and comfort of
Right.
the scriptures
Right.
might have hope.
Right, and this is what Moses was given this generation. He was instilling in them the hope. Right? He was instilling, because Israel had to constantly have this instilled in them the faith that the Most High's promises were going to stand sure. Go ahead. Was that it?
Come.
Go to Jeremiah 16:16.
Jeremiah
6:16.
6:16.
Yeah, 6:16. Yep.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in his ways,
Right.
and see, and ask for old paths.
Read it again.
Thus saith the Lord,
Go ahead.
stand ye in his ways,
Come on.
and see, and ask for old
Right. He
paths.
said, ask for the old path. Go ahead.
Where is the good way?
Where is the what?
Where is the good
See,
way?
Moses was trying to take the people through the good way. Go ahead and in reminding them about the wars, he constantly brought up the Red Sea. You know, he constantly brought up Pharaoh and their destruction. He was trying to show Israel that there was a good path to take. Go ahead.
And walk therein,
Go ahead.
and ye shall find rest for your soul.
Wait, you shall what?
Find rest for your soul.
Was not the promised land supposed to be our rest? Yeah. But go ahead.
But they said we will not walk therein.
And we know as we go through, further into the scriptures, that was the mindset of Israel. We ain't gonna walk in the good ways.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk according to our own way, and that's what happened with the ones that died in the wilderness. They wanted to walk in their own way. Right? They wanted to do their own thing, and their punishment was that they died.
Gone.
Right? So Moses again was just reinstilling in the people. Also, he was getting Joshua ready to take over that leadership position. So there was a few things that were happening simultaneously that Moses was trying to accomplish.
Even when you look at like today, when you fast forward to today, and you look at what's going on in the world,
Right?
if you should be asking like, man, this can't be it. Like, why is the world like this? What's going on? With everything that keeps happening, the music that's being released, the things and the signs that the Most High is showing just throughout the earth, man. You should be asking yourself, what is going on? And you should be looking and searching to find the answer and to find that thing that you're missing. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ronnie were driving today, and Ronnie was talking about, you know, when he found the truth, he found his purpose. Nicodemus.
Hey, listen, I had to remind him to put
Hands
some
up, don't
respect.
shoot.
You gotta make him drop.
I had to remind him to put some respect on your name.
You didn't even do 10 push-ups?
You call me by another name like you said? $5.
Told him you gotta put some respect on your name.
Slack. We're going to read about you today, too.
Yep.
We
We
are.
definitely gonna read about you.
I got plenty of scriptures on this.
So, yeah, me and Nicodemus was driving up here, and we were talking about, you know, how when we found the truth, we found our purpose. The majority of the people in the world right now, they don't have a purpose. And they just go, they're lost, and they just go with the flow, whatever they put in the media, that's what they do, that's how they dress, act, walk, talk, dance, all that, right? Whatever they put on TV to eat, that's what they eat. And they, like you said, they're lost, they don't know, right? But the scripture right here, if we could read verse 17.
Yep.
Could you read verse 17?
You can read whatever you want.
Jeremiah 6 and 17.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Also, I see watchmen over you.
See, the Most High, he's always had watchmen over us throughout all that. And the watchmen did what? Go ahead.
Saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet.
But see, the Most High, the coronavirus, the Democrats and the Republicans can't get together to pass a stimulus check for the unemployment to help people that don't got jobs. Like, all this, it's a sign. It's a sign for you to search, to actually listen to the watchman. Because if you search, the scripture talks about if you ask, you're gonna receive, right? And wisdom crieth in the streets. So if you want it, if you want wisdom, the scripture also says to ask the Most High and He'll give it to you. So if all this is happening for our people to ask, man, how can I live? How can I live? How can I survive in this? Most High help me, right? Like you got the people in Brazil that all laid down and started praying to the Most High because of everything that's going on. People should be doing that here. But our people are looking, right? But the thing is that the Most High always had watchmen over us, and they're blowing the trumpets. So if our people out there was asking, they'll see. But this is the problem right here. Go ahead.
But they said, we will not hearken.
They will not what?
We will not hearken.
But the problem is the majority of our people, they don't want to hear it. Because they don't like the way it's being said. They don't like what's being said. And they don't like who's saying it.
That's right.
And they don't even like where it's being said. Because if it's not being said in a $2 million church, or on a $500 million jet by Joel Osteen or by certain people, they don't want to hear it.
Or on some talk show.
On some talk show.
Some blog radio. Some, if it's not on those platforms, there's no value.
Con.
And that's where our people, you got to wake up out of that mind state of looking at, you got to listen to the message. Listen to what's being said instead of who's saying it.
Yep.
Looking at the suit and tie.
Yeah, you looking at the sheep. You looking at the sheep in wolf's clothing.
Right.
That's a Joel Osteen hit.
The wolf thing.
The wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
What did I say? The sheep in wolf's clothing.
Yeah.
Ah man,
You kind of got me right
I
there.
ain't get no sleep
Yeah.
last night. Anyway,
Can I get another one?
yeah, what you got?
Let's stay in Jeremiah. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 21.
Oh, we in the spirit. Cause look, what I did. I was all up in that.
Jeremiah chapter 23.
Chapter 23, verse 21.
Go ahead.
Woe be unto the pastors.
No, 23 and 21. Jeremiah 23 and 21.
God, I got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 21. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied.
See, the Most High is saying He ain't sent these prophets, but they out there running, they're out there talking, they're out there speaking, they're out there trying to prophesy. I'm gonna blow away the coronavirus.
While I blow it into your nostrils.
I'm gonna blow away the coronavirus and it ends up spiking. You know, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent, but make sure you pay these tithes. The Most High did not send them. And you want to know how the Most High didn't send them? I love the scripture so much. Read verse 22.
Come.
Go ahead.
But if they had stood in my
Because
counsel,
listen, if these pastors had actually stood in the counsel of the Most High, read,
and had caused my people to hear my words,
and if they actually were causing our people to hear the words of the Most High,
then they should have turned them from their evil way.
then our people wouldn't be out here doing evil.
Come.
They wouldn't be the number one people incarcerated.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be filling up the abortion clinics. We wouldn't have broken households. We wouldn't be on drugs and gangs. We wouldn't be doing evil stuff, man. We wouldn't be prostituting our women. We wouldn't be shooting each other in the streets over a color, over a flag, over a gang, over a cartel. We wouldn't be doing these things. We wouldn't be robbing each other, breaking into the cars. We wouldn't be doing none of these things, man. Read.
And from the evil of their doings.
We wouldn't be doing none of that. But that's why it's very important for us, like he was saying, it's very important for us to know our history. Because when you read and you see our history and you see how we were and what got us into the predicaments that we were in, you would see, okay, let me not do that. Hopefully that would be the thought. But that's why, again, in churches, they don't teach the Old Testament. That's why we don't know anything about the history. And that's why we just keep making the same mistakes and the same mistakes. We take a step forward, 2 steps back. We go in a circle. Ain't no progress being made.
Yep.
Nicodemus.
Yeah, you can show what's in the Bible. It ain't that they are not hearing, they just hate change.
God.
Our people hate the change.
God.
That's the biggest problem. They hate the change.
Hate to change.
They're comfortable with what they're doing right now.
God. Well said. All right. Guess reading. Yep. All right, let's start the reading. Sorry, I'm a little turned up today. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26.
Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Right. Okay. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known.
See, Moses set before us, when he gave us the Most High's commandments, he set before us a blessing and a curse. If you follow it, you're going to be blessed. If you don't follow it, you're going to be cursed. And as you can see, we don't follow it. We don't follow it at all. That's why we're cursed, man. We're cursed in our health. We're cursed in our relationships. We're cursed in our economy. We're cursed in happiness. We're cursed in having a peace of mind. A lot of us don't got a peace of mind.
Financial sector.
Say it again?
Your financial sector, your home.
Yeah, your financial situation, we're cursed in that. Listen, it's a curse to pay rent, man. It's a curse to not own something and have to pay rent. The majority of our people don't own nothing. And even if you think you own something, you still got to pay tax.
That's right.
It's a curse to finance a car and pay twice that amount on a car. By the time you about to get done paying for the car is ready to break down. It's already breaking down by the 3rd year you got it.
That's true.
And you still paying for it. And actually by the 3rd year you paying that car, you just paid off the interest. And now you're starting to pay for the car.
Same thing with a house.
Same thing with a house. Yep. You buy that house, you finally paid off the interest, but the roof collapsed. The foundation is gone. There's cracks everywhere. The AC unit is out. And it's a new house and the AC unit is out. I mean, it's a curse, man. We're in a cursed state, but that's why, again, Romans 15:4, they don't show us this. So we repeat the same history over and over and over again.
Also, when you look at it, like when you register things and it goes to the state, when you register it, it's not actually yours because they can come and commandeer it whenever they want it. If they need it. It's crazy. You don't own anything.
You know,
Eminent domain.
Gone.
You know, in Deuteronomy 28, if we could jump here real quick, just off of what he said, right? Go to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49. We'll read this and then we'll go right back. Somebody give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49.
Because this is actually one of the biggest curses for our people. Read.
The Most High shall bring a nation against thee from afar,
Go ahead.
from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A nation whose what?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Khan, we get it. At the time, we didn't understand English because we spoke Hebrew, right? But think about what he just said. How many of us knew that? Why do you have to go get a lawyer when you go to court? Because you don't understand everything that they're talking about.
Because the language changes.
Absolutely.
You don't it's like they're speaking English, but they got all that stuff in the fine print. So you don't know.
It's maritime law.
Yeah, it's all that. So you don't understand their tongue. They're so deceitful.
Right.
They trick you. They trick you into so many things. You buy this house, you buy this car, and there's this whole process. And during that whole process, think about when you download an app. You just scroll down and hit accept. You didn't read none of that.
That's true.
But that's how it is for a lot of the things that we do. It's a lot of situations. You know, we don't. The tongue itself, we don't understand the whole details. But some of the stuff is starting to come out. You could jump back to Deuteronomy 11:28. 29.
Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 29. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord thy God has brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the campaign over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it, and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. Chapter 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land, which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it all the days that ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the names of them of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there. Even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds, and of your flocks.
So right here it's telling you pretty much, back then when you brought your sacrifice to the Levites, the Most High had a place. He had that temple set up in all the 12 tribes' land. It don't matter what tribe you was in, what land you was in. There was a place where you would go and bring your sacrifice. You didn't just do it at your own house. You didn't just do it in your own, in your backyard, in your front yard, gathered with your people. Nah, you brought it to the Levites at the place where you had ready to go.
So back in, I think it was verse 4, when it was talking about when you go into the land, and you like take control over that land wherever the Most High sends you, and you're supposed to like get rid of everything. So that was for like more than just one reason, just to, because he wanted the sacrifices.
Oh, well, this is when you read verse 3. Read verse 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 3. And ye shall overthrow their altars.
Yeah, verse 2.
Verse 2. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree.
So when we went into our land, when we went into our land, remember you had the Canaanites, you had the Amalekites or Amalek. they were there as well. They had all kinds of temples and stuff erected for their gods. So when we went in there, after we got them out of the land, we were supposed to go in there and utterly destroy it. Burn it, get rid of it. That's why when you jump to verse 4, it says, ye shall not do. Just read verse 3 and then verse 4. Yeah,
and ye shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire.
Go ahead.
And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the names of them of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God.
So we were supposed to completely destroy theirs. Burn it, get rid of it, so that the names wasn't even there anymore. But for our power, for our God, we were not going to do that with ours.
So the significance, what was the significance in like doing away with all, so nobody could go back and serve them? But they killed everybody, right?
Go to Leviticus 18 and 3.
And actually,
This is the
we'll read down and
significance.
read.
The significance was that he didn't want us to follow after it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, ye shall not do.
Right, so remember the law was given to clean us up from Egypt, but also to prep us into going into Canaan. Remember the Canaanites, they were a Hamite African nation. They were into worshiping other gods. So the whole purpose of breaking down their altars, breaking down their groves, was for us. What was Israel's problem?
We were always wanting to be like the other nations.
Right. We always envied the other nations. We wanted to have a king like them. We wanted to just move around the way they moved around, right? So to get rid of that, you know, the scriptures say, it's in Wisdom of Solomon. It says, man, you know it. Jeez. Can't think of the word. Oh,
Guys.
no, the bewitching of naughtiness. Doeth obscure, right, it's in Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, it says, let me get it real quick. Wow. Can't think. Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, 4 and 12. Right. Read it real quick.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4 verse 12.
Right.
For the bewitching of naughtiness,
Right.
doeth obscure things that are honest.
Right. So the Most High was trying to avoid that naughtiness from obscuring our honesty. The naughtiness of Canaan, the filth that they were into, the naughtiness of Egypt already infiltrated us. So he was pulling us out of that to take us into Canaan. Go ahead.
And the wandering of concupiscences.
The wondering of what?
Concupiscences.
You know, they say curiosity killed the cat. He was trying to take that curious mind away by just wiping all that negative out. Go ahead.
Doeth undermine the simple mind.
Right. So the significance was for us. Everything that the Most High did, remember, he didn't care about the nations.
Right.
Right. He didn't care about them. What's the one scripture we read it in Deuteronomy where he said he didn't bring us into the land because of
something that we did, but because
the nations were filthy?
Yeah.
We're going to find this one real quick. It's in Deuteronomy. We read it last week.
7?
What does it say? Read it.
I'm not there, but I just...
Right. Man. Is it 7:1? No, that's not it. But he said he didn't bring us into these lands and give us these lands because of us. It was because he brought us in there to wipe out the nations because of what they were doing. So we were like,
it's 9 and 5.
9 and 5. We were like the cleanup. We were like the cleanup of the earth. Go ahead, read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 5.
Yep.
Not for thy righteousness.
Right? No. Read verse 4.
God. Speak not thou in thine heart.
Right.
After that, the Most High, thy power, has cast them from before thee.
Right.
Saying, for my righteousness hath the Most High hath brought me in to possess this land.
Right. It wasn't for our righteousness because we weren't righteous coming into Canaan. We were filthy. We were still in the Egyptian mind. Go ahead.
But for the wickedness.
But for the what?
But for the wickedness.
Go ahead.
Of these nations.
Right.
The Most High doeth drive them out from before thee.
Right. So the whole point was for us to go and drive them out because they were serving other gods. They weren't keeping the commandments. Go ahead.
Not for thy righteousness.
Not for our righteousness. Go ahead.
Or for the uprightness of thine heart.
Come on.
Doest thou go to possess their land.
Read.
But for the wickedness of these nations, the Most High thy power.
Now, see, this was the alternative. Us going out and wiping out these nations was the alternative to the flood. Right? The Most High said he promised. He said he would never ever flood the earth and destroy all mankind in that way. So this was another way to accomplish the purpose of what? Wiping out wickedness off the earth. Right? But what's the problem with man? We got free will. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we choose. So no matter how much the Most High tried to give us that clean slate, what did man always choose? Well, not all man, but the majority, they chose to be wicked. Right? They chose their own path, their own way. Finish it.
Doeth drive them out from before thee.
Go ahead.
And that he may perform the word.
And that you may what?
Perform the word.
Go ahead.
Which the Most High swear unto thy fathers.
Right.
Abraham.
Right.
Isaac.
Right.
And Jacob.
Yeah. What the Most High swore was that he was going to give us that land. Right. He was going to give us the promised land, the land flowing with milk and honey. Jump back to Leviticus. Did we finish that? 18:3?
Yeah, I think
we finished it? Okay. Now jump back to Deuteronomy 11 or 12, right?
Question, sir.
Yes, sir.
On the where it talks about the high places, right there on verse 2.
Right.
Okay, my question is, you know how we built the pyramids? Were these the high places that they worshipped on? Because when you go, that's what they did the sacrifices on. So when they came over here, they did the same thing. That's what the 9.5 tribes.
Well, in verse 2 it says the high mountains.
Oh, okay.
Read verse 2.
And ye shall, Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 2.
Right.
Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods.
Go ahead.
Upon the high mountains.
I mean, you know, think about it. Whenever you think about some type of worship, doesn't that come to your mind? Like they up in the hills somewhere away from the norm.
Right.
They're up there in secret. They're
like
up
the
in
monks.
the
Like the monks.
Right. Like the Buddhist temple, the monks. Where do they go? When they're in them Tibetan hills, right? What's the one mountain what is it, Everest? Mount Everest, and at the bottom of Mount Everest, they have like the monks. They're down there. Now it's like real touristy. But they live up in the mountains, right? And they worship their gods. You see that? So they go to these high places that, think about it, you're going to go up there and worship, you're going to climb a mountain to go worship a god? You ever watch, remember 300? Where did he have to go reach?
Right,
to go reach the gods,
Their prophets.
the prophets, their oracles. He had to climb, right, with no rope, nothing. He had to climb up some crazy mountain.
Right.
Right. Now, I mean, think about it. Let's think about it. Did not Moses climb a mountain? And when you talk about Sinai, that was a high place. It was almost an unbearable trek, right? But the Most High designated Sinai for Moses to go up there and learn. You see that? That's the difference where when you read in 12 and 5, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose. See, the Most High always chose for us.
Right.
Where these other nations, they chose the grove. They chose the mountain because of some carnal significance.
I get it.
You see that?
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay.
Any other questions? All right, go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 12.
So, you get that, Abadai? Okay. Go ahead.
We'll start at verse 5. But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand. and your vows, and your free will offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. Verse 7. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that he put your hand unto. And ye and your households wherein the Lord thy God hath blessed thee.
You know, you got to look at it like this. Why did the Most High choose Sinai? Everybody ever wonder, like, why did he choose Mount Sinai out of all the mountains?
That's what he told us.
No, what's that?
That's what he told us to flee to. When the Romans surrounded.
No. Because remember, we were in Israel. Sinai would be south. He told us to flee west. And then remember, that was Yahushua prophesying 70 AD. The Most High was on Sinai and the angels back in Moses' time. But you ever think about why did he choose that mountain? Well, again, what was a problem with Israel? It says the Jews require what? A sign. And what was happening in Egypt with the 10 plagues, where some of those plagues were able to be replicated, right, by the magicians. So you got to look at Sinai and where the location, where it was, and where we were. The Most High, without a shadow of a doubt, when we saw the glory and we saw when we felt, first of all, the mountain trembling, right, from 12 miles away, when we seen it burning and smoking and we heard everything, nothing could enter into your mind and say, oh, that's a magician. Oh, that's a man up there. Oh, Moses did that. It was chosen. Everything the Most High did was to give us these signs to, again, push us further into having that faith in him and that belief in him. Right. So, everything the Most High did was for a significance. All the locations that he chose. Hey, go over to this brook and you're going to dwell here. Well, we ain't got no water. Well, there's water there. Well, the water tastes bitter. Well, okay, grab you this tree, throw it in the water, and then you're going to be good. It's all these things it was the Most High showing that our well-being and the control that he had was always there. It wasn't about a man trying to take the credit. Y'all see that?
Right.
Right. So, the Most High chose things strategically, like Sinai, for Israel's benefit. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 8. And ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes.
Yeah, should have just read that. You said that. Yeah, you said that.
For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which the Lord your God giveth you. But when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God giveth you to inherit, when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offerings of your land, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons and your daughters, and your menservants and your maidservants, and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he had no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes, there thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings.
Right, because this is what the nations were doing. They had an altar set up every little place they went. They did sacrifices to their God. So he was warning us, don't sacrifice on their altars. Break them down. You see that? Because then you be basically worshiping worshiping their gods in a roundabout way. Yeah, so That's why he wanted us to break everything down, because they had altars and temples set up. They just had them. It was almost, like, remember in Matthews when Yahweh Shai said, when you pray, don't pray with that vain repetition.
Right.
Don't do things repetitiously. Do it sincerely. It's like the worship of these gods was a vain, repetitious, outward showing, right? And that's what the nations did. So another reason why the Most High didn't want that. Go ahead. It's all good.
Forgive me. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 14, last precept. And there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Verse 15. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. According to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which ye hath given thee.
Right.
The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck, and as of the hart.
What is it saying?
Give me. What is that?
Read it again.
Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates.
So he said you can kill and eat flesh within all thy gates. Go ahead.
Whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
Right. So what if you were lusting after some swine? I mean, I'm just saying. What if you were lusting after something unlawful? He said you can kill and eat, right?
Right.
Go ahead, read on.
According to the blessing of the Lord thy God.
Remember, the Most High is not the author of confusion. Right? So he wasn't going to, it's not saying go ahead and kill something unlawful. Go ahead. So he was basically saying you can get whatever you lust after within the law. Whatever you need, whatever you want within the law, that's lawful. You can kill it and you can eat that. Go ahead.
According to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he had given thee.
Right.
The unclean.
Right.
And the clean.
What's that talking about? The unclean and the clean may eat thereof. What's that talking about? Who knows?
I have no idea.
So the unclean would be the unclean animals?
No. Remember, we're dealing with the law here, right? So is he going to tell us to keep the law and break it?
No. Like the unclean animals would eat of the clean animals.
Read it again. It says the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck, which is a clean animal, and of the hart, which is a clean animal. When it's saying the unclean and the clean, it's talking about persons. The unclean would be the nations that are with us, the strangers. The clean would be us. Go to Deuteronomy 15:22. I think somebody had asked this a while, maybe a week or two ago. It might have been Dawayad. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but go to it was Dawayad. He put the scripture in there already. Yes, sir. Go to Deuteronomy 15, verse 22. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 22.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt eat it within thy gates.
Go ahead.
The unclean
right.
And the clean person.
Yeah, you see that? The unclean and the clean person. Go ahead.
Shall eat it alike.
Right. Go ahead.
As the roebuck.
Right.
And as the hart.
Right. Go ahead.
Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof.
Right. Read.
Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water.
Right, because we weren't supposed to eat blood of any sort. You weren't eating, what is it, pig blood stew? What they eat over there in China? Blood soup or something like that? Blood sausage?
Yeah.
Eating gizzards and liver and kidneys. We weren't supposed to eat those things. The heart of the animal you weren't supposed to eat. A heart is a form of deer. H-A-R-T.
Yeah.
That's a form of deer or venison. Sir.
That's kind of what you're saying now. You're saying that refers to that scripture in Deuteronomy 14:21. It says, You shall not eat of anything that died of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates.
Right, because we had strangers with us. So this is just another, when you go into Deuteronomy 14, basically that's just a reiteration of Leviticus 11, right? With it's a reiteration of Leviticus 11,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the dietary law. Right. So, and just to make sure we got that verse 15 down. The unclean and clean was talking about the persons. We were the clean people,
Right.
the strangers, and remember we left out of Egypt, mixed multitude. We had Egyptians,
Right.
and we had other. I mean, think about it. You gotta look at it like this: were we the only ones that the Egyptians enslaved? More than likely not, right? They didn't just have a vendetta for Israel, right? They probably had a few different nations that were about enslaved, because Egypt was very powerful. They had a capital city, but they controlled. Their reach was far beyond what we think. So it's fair to say they probably had a few other nations in slavery. And when we got freed, hit that fan. When we got free, what happened? The ones that were captive also, they got free. If they want to roll with us, they roll with us, right? I mean, we are the blessing to the world. We are blessed. Our people are blessed because of us. Just us being around is a blessing. So, that stranger or that unclean person, they were going to be there too. He's saying that they could eat thereof. But what did they have to do to be able to participate in Passovers and feast days? They had to be circumcised. They'd have to do as we do, right? They had to be under the law. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go back to 16. And you know what's crazy? 15 and 16 is going to be reiterated again in verse 22 and 23. Then it reiterates again in Deuteronomy 15, 22 and 23. So it says the same things 3 different times, but the real edification is in that 15th chapter about the unclean and clean person.
If they like have to do as we do and follow the law, like in this instance, wouldn't they be breaking the law? Or isn't he allowing them to break the law?
What do you mean? In this instance, would they be breaking the law? What do you mean?
Like being able to eat animals that died of itself and stuff like that.
Well, you're going back to Deuteronomy 14, right? Well, remember, the law was this. What was the law of the stranger? Let's get it real quick. The law, go to Deuteronomy, let's see here, go to Exodus, I believe. The law of the stranger was different than the laws that we had. Remember, we had a law for the stranger. Right. So, or the alien, right? It says in the scriptures, I think it's Exodus. And it tells you, let's see here. No, that's not it. Find me the one it tells you. It gives you the law on animals that died of itself, that we can sell it to the nations. Right. Right? That was the law. So they weren't breaking the law. They weren't breaking our law. What is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Go there. Leviticus what?
17:15.
Let's go there real quick.
Oh.
Leviticus 17 and 15. Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
Is it?
I think so. Leviticus and every so they. No.
7:24.
That's not it. It just said that you'll be unclean, but hold on. Deuteronomy 14 and 21, right? But I'll get it real quick. Because all we got to do is just understand what the law itself says to how to deal with them.
Oh, I think it starts at 14:21.
21, Deuteronomy 14, 21.
No, that's where we're at.
Oh. Where it says the stranger.
That's where his question is. Go to let's see here. which died of itself or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself wherewith. Oh, there shall no stranger. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Because there's a few of them, but I want to get the actual.
What about the one in Exodus 29:33?
What does it say?
They shall eat those things wherewith their atonement was made to consecrate and to sanctify them, that a stranger shall not eat of thereof.
Nah, go, go to Exodus 22 and 31. Go to Exodus 22 and 31.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 31.
Go ahead.
And ye shall be holy men,
Right.
unto me.
Right.
Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in
Right.
the field.
Right.
Ye shall cast it to the dogs.
To the who?
To the dogs.
To the what?
To the dogs.
So who are the dogs? The nations. Right? Didn't Christ call that woman a dog? Right?
What scripture was that?
This is Exodus 22 and 31. And obviously this is going in kind of rough, but there's other ones that there's other scriptures that say you could sell it to the nations. You can sell it to the, I think it uses the word alien. Hold on. Yeah, but he said cast it to the dogs, man. It wasn't talking about Fido. Nah, Fido wasn't eating a whole oxen because it was torn of itself or beat up by another ox. You was going to sell that. You were going to sell that to the nations that were around you. They were going to eat that. We wouldn't eat that. Man, there's one that specifically and explicitly says it.
I know it's speaking something about dogs.
No, it doesn't say. That one says dogs.
Oh, okay. I know one in Matthew 15 talking about that Canaanite, wasn't it the Canaanite one?
Right, and that's what I was saying. Yahweh Shai called that woman, the Canaanite woman, a dog. He said even it's not meat to cast the children's food to dogs. And she said even the dogs eat of the crumbs under the table, right? Even the dogs get a little piece, right? And hey, for that saying, thou art healed. Let's see here. Hey, listen. Here it is. I think this is it. No. I mean, this might be it that we're reading. Verse 21 is telling us. This might be it in Deuteronomy 14 and 21.
That might be it.
He's telling us right here, thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, and that he may eat it, or mayest. Oh, here it is. This is it. This is the one I was looking for the whole time. We were sitting right here. Go ahead, read it. Deuteronomy 14:21. Somebody read it. Wow.
I got it.
God.
Deuteronomy chapter 14:21.
Yep.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates.
Go ahead.
That he may eat it. Or thou mayest sell it unto an alien.
There it is. That's the one that was in my mind. Should have just read down. He said, sell it to the alien.
Yeah.
So the nations aren't breaking the law because this is the law. You see that? This is the law that was given regarding any animal that died of itself. So, you got roadkill. So when Esau be sliding by and picking up deers off the side of the road, hey, he's just doing what he naturally does. Right? I'm not even, when you talking about getting gators and raccoon off the side of the road, I'm like, hey, he's doing, because I ain't gonna eat that.
Definitely not.
Right? Or something that dies of itself. You watching Bear Grylls?
Oh, no.
They pull up on a dead antelope and just start fishing for the good part of the meat. Hey, that's in their nature.
What's that
Right?
count?
What's that?
So if you was to sell something that died of itself, and it was like disease or something, and they killed him, it's just like, oop, my bad.
I mean, this is the thing. You wouldn't. It wasn't so harsh that you weren't gonna sell them 15-day-old meat. You wouldn't do that to anybody. Now let's say you had an animal. Let's say you had a bunch of animals, and we kept up with our animals. And let's say one of the animals just dropped dead. I mean, I'm sure there's a a certain time frame of selling that, right? Now, if the meat was diseased, God, I mean, it don't go into that. But I see I see where you're going. But because why would it? But this is the thing. Why would an animal die of itself? Yeah, disease, old age.
That's probably it.
That's probably really it, right?
Or some kind of injury.
Or some type of it. Be torn. Yeah, it's torn of another beast, like it fought another animal.
Snake guys or
E. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
But we can't let that go to waste, right? Most High said he said waste not, want not. He didn't say that. He never said that in the scriptures. You know what it says? You know what it says in the Bible, right? Waste not, want not. It don't say that. It says taste not, handle not. Right. But you know how people waste not, want not. You know what it says in the scriptures? It don't say that in the Bible. Godliness, cleanliness is next to godliness. It don't say that in the Bible. There's no verse in chapter for that. So, I mean, this is just what the law was. If it died of itself, or if it, got torn by, if a bull gored another bull and it died, hey, go ahead and sell that to the stranger. And that's what it was. It doesn't go into any other if it's disease or if it's this or if it's that. We have wisdom, so if it ain't like how they do you now, or how they do all of us now, where the cow is sitting on the farm and it has a tumor the size of his head, right? And they puncture it and all the green stuff comes out, and then they cut that part out thinking that it's okay and they sell it to you. That's what they do to us, right?
God.
They following the law according. They sell the disease they selling diseased animals to us. They know that they're diseased.
Yeah.
Right? They got big cancer mounds and what do you call it? A cyst?
It's like pork. They got to scrape the cancer off of it.
Yeah. Come on now.
They don't cut that out. They grind it in the sausage.
They grind it into sausage. They're not looking for the imperfections on the animal. Like, oh, we can't sell that. They're like, listen, man, this cow. How much does a cow go for these days? What? 15 grand? 10 grand? I remember when a cow used to go for like 10 grand. It's probably a lot more now. A steer, right? They're like, nah, we got to get this 10,000. This 15,000. We can't. Every pound you cut off of that meat is $1 short, right? They weigh everything by the pound.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna cut off certain things off the animal. That's gonna take away from the value. So what do? Think about it. You gotta watch the documentaries on how they do the meat. When meat sits for a while, it starts to look. It's supposed to look like that, but it starts to look like the tape. It gets gray, right? What do they do to get it back to this color? Just dye it. They just dip it in blood. They dye it with some food dye. They sell it right to you, and you think that you got some fresh kill, right? Some 1 day kill. You smell it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah. But see, this is the thing. Does anybody know what an animal smells like when it's first killed? A lot of us don't. A lot of us don't know what an animal smells like when it's first killed. And then we can't differentiate the difference between 10-day kill, 15-day, 30-day. Remember the class I went through about the meat, how by the time you get it from the farm to the table, it takes about a good month on purpose. They make sure that it builds up bacteria because they say it's for taste. Right? But that's what they sell us. That's what they do it to us. They sell us the diseased meat on purpose. Yeah. Now, I don't think that we was going through and selling them diseased food on purpose because, yeah, you would be liable for that person. Like you going around knowingly selling them cancerous cows and steroid cows. Now y'all know what Esau got coming to them. Because that's what they do to us. They pump them with hormones, they pump them with disease, and they sell it to us and we eat it. Most of our food is like that. Ain't there something going with the strawberries when you dip them in?
Oh, it's that toy.
Huh?
It's that little toy.
No, the strawberries.
Oh.
You put them in salt and vinegar, and worms come out of them. I don't know why I went to bed this morning thinking about that, but it's weird. How does that happen? Like, yeah, they got this thing. You put the strawberries in the salt and apple cider vinegar, and the worms start to maneuver right out of it.
I see that.
Just like when they put Coke on pork, and the worms start to come out of the pork. It's all disease, man. Oh, there it is. No, I'm looking at the screen. There it is. Little slug. Ugh, that's disgusting. I love strawberries.
They are good.
But think about it, it's all disease. The earth is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. So no matter what pesticides they use, the soil is defiled. The water is defiled. The air, the oxygen the plants take in is filthy.
It's true.
So, we're not going to be able to escape it, but just really going back to the question, it doesn't go into that part. It just says if it dies or if it's torn by beasts, give it to them. Cast it to, how you say dog in Spanish? Betos. To the beto, right?
God. You know.
Go ahead, Jermaine. And then.
Yeah.
Okay, man, I've assessed that after my mom, after my brother, and one of my friends, after her mom, after they eat like pork chops, they get like upset. Like it's like the next day, I don't know if it's the high blood. I don't know if it's well.
It's the worms that's in there feeding on their
they
body.
They just get like irrational and like angry, and I'm just like, damn, you gotta put down them chops, them pork chops.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was watching. I like to watch old shows or older shows. So I was watching House, and the first episode of House, this lady, she's like delusional and crazy, and they can't figure out what the hell's going on with her, bro. It was as simple as she ate pork and she had a tapeworm, and he started going into. I meant to record it. He starts going they start going in on this show about how bad pork is. And talking about the trichinosis worm. Yeah, I'm like, damn, that's the first episode of House? I'm like, what? And I've seen House. I've seen it all. I'm just rewatching it. It's something on the first episode of House.
Season?
Huh?
First season?
First season, first episode. They bashing on pork.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah. Because what it was, she had a worm in her head. And he was like, if she has a worm in her head, I guarantee she has one in the thigh. The pork worms, they love thigh muscle. And then he went in there, they did the little x-ray. Obviously, it's Hollywood, but Hollywood is going to do what?
Tell you the truth.
Hollywood is going to tell you the truth, man. These shows are going to tell you the truth. They're not just getting misinformation. Yeah, that's when they squeeze that meat and that green come out. Yeah. Yeah, that's those cancerous sores in the meat. Yeah. Yeah, man, but... those tapeworms. Think about a parasite. A parasite, it sucks away from, its host, and the aggravation that they get, that choler, like the scriptures go into, that bile that it builds up. Yeah, man, those tapeworms, they'll suck your spirit. It's physical and it's spiritual. They'll suck you physically, and spiritually they agitate you. That's why you got to do detoxes and cleanses and fast. But most importantly, you definitely gotta. Yeah, there go Dawaya. He stole my words. He said that's why you gotta detox. We in the same mind. Yeah, you gotta detox and fast, and obviously you gotta stay away from the pork, and the shellfish and the shrimp, crab, lobster, and in these times, man, you gotta kind of more slow down on the meat as a whole. Even though it's lawful, you don't want to be overindulgent in meat. Because of the way they handle, the way they raise. Lewis.
Not to change the subject or anything, but this week I had to go to get my DOT done, and I ran into a brother in there, and basically I always bring up the Most High wherever I go. I said, the Most High's got me. And he started talking, but like what you're bringing up about the pork and all that. He said, no, pork is good to eat.
Oh, yeah.
I said, no, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
I said, he goes, what about Cornelius? Basically, I said, well, that's not what I was talking about, but what I got kind of stumbled on, with when Howard Shai was speaking to the brothers, he said it's not what comes in you, it's what comes out of you. So I told him that's more spiritual. That's actually talking about the spirit of what you ingested in your thoughts and your process. Was I right or wrong?
Yeah, and then Cornelius, all you got to show him is that the story of Peter.
Oh, I showed him. I got Cornelius right on that one because I read that one plenty of times.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't even talking about food at all.
Right.
Right, that wasn't about food.
With the one on Yahweh Shai, was I right or wrong on that?
Yeah, he wasn't talking about food either.
Right, it was more spiritual.
Yeah, because it goes in. He goes into the different things that go into a person, or that come out and defile you. Right. So, yeah, and neither of those things was he talking about. Were they talking about food? Those were allegory or metaphor, using a food metaphor, right, to show you these different teachings that they were teaching, these parables. Okay. Sir.
You know where I live at, they know how to eat swine. So when they cook something, it smells good, and I have to say, that was swine in there, dude. You know what I'm saying?
You know it's crazy because you gotta ask when it smell too good. You gotta be like, man, which I gotta been that.
They told me, swine is good for you.
Oh yeah.
See, 4 days later, both of them walked around with high blood pressure. Yeah.
What the? With a machine?
I told that to you, didn't I?
Wow.
Both of them walking around.
Yeah.
I asked the female, I said, oh, you got that blood? I heard her talking to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just standing there listening.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got high blood pressure? She said, oh, yeah.
I knew you was.
Don't get scared about it. I said, no, you got high blood pressure because high blood pressure don't get about it.
Right, it don't go up and down.
I told her, I said, you know what called that? They told me, well, I eat pickles and salt and all that. I said, but pickles and salt don't cause get a swine, makes your blood pressure run up when you got high blood pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I said,
Yeah.
we need to stop eating swine.
Yeah, because you could actually regulate your blood pressure with, like, pickle water. Let's say your blood pressure is too low. You drink some of that, it'll bring your pressure up. You get faint. You know, it's the sodium in there and the salt, right. the trace minerals, the electrolytes. But yeah, when you give yourself to that swine, man, yeah, you open yourself up for a lot of different diseases.
That's right.
Right? Let's jump back. So, I mean, y'all got that, right? It says what it says.
You know, I was going to say one thing on it too. The Most High said, be ye holy for I'm holy, right? So when you look back at verse 21, like whatever that a beast killed or whatever dies of itself, we're not supposed to eat, right? Think about it. If a beast is going to kill another beast, the one that dies probably went through like a lot of trauma. So a lot of adrenaline and all that got into the bloodstream. So you don't want to eat that. And it's like even now, that's what they feed us. These cows, the chicken, what else do we eat? The cows, the chicken, I guess that's most of it. The cows and the chicken, they go through a lot before they die. The cow, especially the cow, they go through a lot of trauma, man. So a lot of that adrenaline is rushed to the blood, and then we eat that, and then, you know, that's why we so messed up.
I think even the white man tells you not to eat a cow that's down.
Yeah.
They don't mess with down cows, right? Or do they?
They sell it.
They probably sell them cheaper. They probably sell them cheaper, but you're not supposed to eat a cow that's down.
That's why I love
because there's something going on with that animal.
That's why I love to catch my fish. He can lay there and see he dying. That'll stop his adrenaline from flowing so bad in him. I like that. Thank you.
What?
Hey, I like that.
Nah, his right? Probably pumping as soon as you pull him out. He's like, oh no, he's about to kill me.
He right.
Just let him gas. Wait, let me ask you. You let him gas for the air, or do you cut him?
Now
when they come out.
Now when I put him out, I throw him in ice.
Oh, that just stops
away,
them.
Right.
Yeah.
Slow.
Oh yeah, and it preserves the meat.
Right.
That's
what I do. Ice him down.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You ice them real quick. Smart.
Huh?
No, it's not really that slow, but it shocks them.
Right.
Oh.
Right, and they don't get all that adrenaline because the fish get all that too. All that adrenaline and all the chemicals start to release. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's why we, it's even like when we go get the Passover lambs. We ain't chasing the lamb around the damn pen. There's times where we'll pick them out and we'll just, like a sheep led to the slaughter, we'll just hold him by the neck and just walk him right in. And then there's other times where he ain't trying to go willingly. So you got to get drugged by a leg.
Wow.
you know, it's not always easy where they don't go kicking and screaming. But once you get them laid down, you wait a moment. You wait a moment and let him just relax, and then you get him. Boom. That way you're not getting all that tough meat. Yeah. You gotta, you know, that's why they call them like kosher kills. One of the things is how the animal is killed, or halal is how the animal is killed. With the least aggression, the better, right? The least aggression for the animal, the least trauma for the animal, the better. The better, they say.
Yeah, I was just recapping this past Passover.
Yeah.
And you were saying one time before, you can see why the Most High chose these animals for us to sacrifice for sin.
They look like people.
They sound like people. While we
Yeah.
were waiting to get our lamb, the dude went and got a lamb for somebody else. And it wasn't no calm and just let me coach you through. He just walked in, grabbed dude by his leg and started dragging him out.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, ah! Ah!
It sounds just like that. The lamb sounds just like a person.
Wow.
He was screaming like a grown-ass man.
Like a grown man.
I was like, we looked back like, is there a person back there? And he was like, ah! Like,
pulled him into a room.
Yeah.
You hear him, ah!
Yeah. It sounded like a person.
Yes.
It's crazy when you look at a lamb in the face, they got people eyes. It's crazy. They got people eyes. When you look them right dead in the face, they'll come up to you. And they got people, goats, the same thing. They got people faces.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's the homeboy down the block. Like, you look them dead in the eye. The way it's the shapes of their faces, man, is crazy.
Wow, man.
They almost look like people. But when that one was screaming, we all look like, what's going on? We thought it was a person back there. That's how they sound when they start yelling and screaming like that. They sound like a man fighting for his life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's jump back. Oh!
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, next reading?
Yeah.
It's bad.
Wow, man.
Hey, you know what lambs love? They love ginger beer. They like ginger beer, man.
Y'all out of line, man.
Hey. Oh!
We here laughing at
Samuel, shovel the shawl, Yahweh, burn Yashuala.
Samuel Shabbat Tashal Yahawada Bun Yashar Allah, Men of Israel, Amadim, Barak,
Yahweh Shemel Shabakathum.
Yahawah Shemiah Shabrakatah.
Kaya, it crept us out. Trust me. It was creepy. It was very creepy.
God.
It was very creepy.
Wow, man.
That thing was screaming like,
D. I got to go with y'all one time. Y'all go with that, man.
yeah.
See this.
What was I at?
You had left. You had Shariah. Remember?
Oh, I didn't come on time.
No,
Actually.
he didn't come on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you came a little late.
It was probably a good thing. She didn't get to see that.
Shit, maybe she needed to early. I took Noah. I've been taking Noah ever since. Like, yeah, you see? This is what happens.
For your sins.
Just cry.
Yo said, I ain't even cry. Let him get that smell of death. Smell all that iron. But you've been before, right, Benaiah? Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 16. Only ye shall not eat the blood. Ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn.
Right, and why did we not eat the blood?
Life.
Right, the scriptures say the life is in the blood, right? So you're not supposed to, I know they do it in our country, in Jamaica, they be eating them bones. They be chewing them, but eating that bone marrow. Again, the organs that carry the blood and filter it, the liver, you're not supposed to be eating liver. Liver and onions, gone. It's unlawful. the kidneys,
Gizzards.
the gizzards, the heart. Those are the things that carry the blood and filter blood and pump blood. Think about what a liver does. It's a filter. Now, would anybody go into their fish tank, pull the top off, and pull out the little black filter sponge that's in there? Would you do that? Nah, right? So why would we do it with these animals? That organ serves that same purpose. It has all the toxins, all those metals. I mean, think about it. When you bust open a piece of liver, it smells like that iron. It's real irony, right? Oh yeah, we all did. We all used to eat it. You know, we all used to, or I don't want to say all. I don't want to say everybody ate it, but for the most part, we all were in some type of out of the way with the dietary law, where if pork was your thing, or shrimp. I mean, shrimp used to be my thing. That was my favorite. That popcorn shrimp, that butterfly shrimp, that barbecue shrimp, right? All them shrimps used to be my thing, right? And I learned like, oh, I can't eat that. Okay, but I didn't put two and two together. Why I would get sick when I ate it, or why I would get sick when I ate pork. I didn't eat pork a lot, or just certain things I would eat. You just didn't feel right. Right? You didn't feel good afterwards, or why you got the slight headache when you eat, when you eat cheese and milk, why you get a little bit of a headache. And it tells you, like, after you eat cheese, you'll get a headache. They'll tell you that when you look up, like, because there's chemicals in cheese, in the milk, because it's coming from whatever, this animal, things like that. You wonder, like, how come I get these ailments from these things that I put in my body? Well, some things don't belong in your body. They're not food. They were never meant to be food. And then some things are not meant to be eaten at the frequency that we eat them. Me, I love cheese. I love all cheeses. Except for the ones with the little worms in them. The live cheese that you go to Italy and you crack open the barrel and they got like they got the worms inside the cheese. I don't like that cheese. I'm good on that. But I like Gouda cheese. I like provolone. I like American. I like cheese. Mozzarella, Parmesan. I'm with it. No, the real Parmesan is the one you go get, and it has the worms inside of it. You go to like Italy, and it comes in the round barrel. It's a soft cheese, and when you bust that thing open, it's soft, and you'll see the maggots.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh, bro, go to Italy, and go to one of them cheese houses, and they got wheels of cheese, just lining, and they're like, oh yeah, that's been sitting there for 100 years. That's been sitting there for 50 years, and then when you cut it open, the outside is hard, like that's what it sounds like. And they're like, oh, that one's ready, right? This is for the hollowness, right? They're like, oh, they cut it open, and they get like you can use your finger and just, because it's inside, it's soft. But what's happening is the maggots inside is breaking the cheese down, and they say that's what ages it and gives it its flavor. Oh, white people are crazy. That's all I got to say. Esau's crazy, bro.
And they eat it like that?
God, it's a delicacy for them.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
That's, but it, but they don't have the worms in them though.
But they take it
But they're
from that. And
right, and they make them hard, and they're soft. Like some of those soft cheeses. But if you really want to get the ones with the worms that's moving around live, go over to Italy, because even Parmesan cheese is a thing that you can't go get Parmesan cheese, like real Parmesan. You can't go get that everywhere. You got to go to Italy, the old country, and some parts of like Russia, they transport it and ship it in and out. I watched this whole documentary on cheese. I like cheese, but if you eat a lot of cheese, it's not good for you. Headaches, constipation, acne start to break out. All these different things. Your body will tell you. We always talk about your body will tell you when you're doing something in excess. So yeah, don't go get real Parmesan. That stuff you get in the little shaker, that's fake Parmesan. That's not no real cheese. That's not real cheese at all. It's all that's like processed.
It is.
Yeah, it's not real. It's not real cheese. You leave that out.
I took a piece out of one of the crab processor.
Yeah.
I could fan myself with it. It didn't even break.
Oh, you talking about that cheese, like the singles? Yeah, those are pasteurized, processed cheeses.
I could fan myself.
The best cheese to get is that government brick cheese. It's real. It melts. Yeah, that brick cheese. It's just hard to cut. You gotta get a good strong knife. You said what?
It's very hard to cut.
Nah, they don't give it to government. You go get like the brick in the grocery store. You get the brick in the grocery store.
It says wick on it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, they do. I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I need to get my wick up. Got kids now. Yeah, they make a good grilled cheese. You just gotta cook that bread for a long time. What? I like them brick cheeses. Right? They're good. But, you know, eating a lot of cheese ain't good for you.
Right.
A lot of bread. Man, I was just looking at something. And I think it was Ricardo's rib that put me onto it. And then Shara sent me this video. When you go get your... y'all gonna be mad as hell when I tell y'all this. When you go get your baked goods, like bread and pastries, they use human hair as a preservative. They use human hair as a preservative for the bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, y'all looking at me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mathea had told me that. She was like, you got to be careful of the flour tortillas because they use like human hair. I was like, oh, nah, hell no. There's no way the FDA would, right? There's no way the FDA would approve a human hair. Yeah. It's in there. They just name it something different. It's like lectin, starts with an L, I believe. What's see, she about to testify. Go ahead. And that's what they were saying. Make your own breads because like, I love croissants. Oh, croissant sandwich, man. You throw a little tuna salad on there, and bro, but them croissants, they put the hair and they use it as a preservative.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, remember the little rumor that was going around that they put baby fetus in Pepsi?
Yep.
For taste and flavoring? I mean, what's to stop them? What's to stop them from putting stem cells in Pepsi and Mountain Dew and
They had to stop because people boycott.
I don't think they stopped though. I think they still doing it.
They used to put cocaine in Coke.
That's why it was called Coke. Yeah, the first Coca-Cola, that secret recipe was just crack rocks. The secret recipe was a crack dealer in the back cooking that Coke. It was no recipe. There was no recipe. It was a dude in the back with a Pyrex cooking the crack. Right? Yeah, man, they put a lot of strange things. Oh, it went into, remember we talked about this one, the beaver gland with the natural vanillas and strawberries. It went into that, the beaver gland. And they use that for flavoring. So, you know, again, we like ice cream, yeah, vanilla ice cream, strawberry ice cream. When it says natural flavoring, if it's not real vanilla extract from the vanilla bean, then it's beaver buttocks.
You know what?
It's beaver. Yeah, it's beaver gland from the anus. Nah, because the platypus has they're almost the same type of animal, but the beaver they're kind of the same. The platypus has the flat tail, round, but so does a beaver, right?
Yeah.
But they look different. The platypus is longer, but it's beaver. It's beaver.
Man,
That video is fresh in my brain.
Speaking of that unclean eating the pork, especially the pork back in the day, you know, before I learned about this pork, man, I was like on 6-7 different blood pressure medicines, man. I mean, they were just steady, just trying this, because every time I would go, blood pressure would still be real elevated. They'd put me on this and put me on down and this and down. So I before I had found out the truth about the pork, I just took myself off of it, you know, because of that reasoning. And just automatically, I guess about a year or two, I was off of it. I went from like 7 different blood pressure medicines down to where I just take 2 now.
Yeah.
That's the difference now.
Yeah.
Well, I can't just drop myself out of like that because then my kidneys is in.
Yeah, you gotta slowly get yourself, wean yourself. But that's the thing, if you're going from 10 to 2, it's showing you that what we put inside of our body, that's what's affecting us, you know. And then you top that on with the stress, you top that on with just being stressed out, just living this life, and not having the wisdom to mitigate some of that stress, you can see where, you on blood thinners, pressure medication, this medication to combat this medication, this one to stop the diarrhea and the anal bleeding, this one so you don't have a heart attack, but you might get a heart attack if you take this. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. But that, again, it's just the lawful foods that we do eat. We just got to try to make sure that we do everything in moderation. All right. Let's jump back. Let's jump back to the reading.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 17. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or of the firstlings, thy herds, or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy freewill offerings, or heave offering of thine hand.
Why? Why weren't you supposed to do that within your own gates? Who was the offering supposed to go to? Right, the Most High, the priests. The offerings were for the priests. So you went and you offered to the priests, and then in most cases you would sit back and eat with the priests. They would eat with you. They would drink with you. Go ahead.
Verse 18. But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. Thou and thy son,
Go ahead.
and thy daughter, and thy maidservant, and thy maidservant. I'm sorry, Shalaka, and thy manservant,
Right.
and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates.
So you were supposed to go to that Levite that was within the gates and eat with him, and you were supposed to take your family and your servant. So it wasn't like a solo, I gotta go see the priest today. No, the whole house went. See that? It was a family affair. Go ahead.
And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, and all that thou puttest thine hands unto.
So what was this eliminating in the household? This is a beautiful law. This was doing a lot of things in that house. What was it doing?
To me,
Yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
it shows that all your sins, when you come to the priest, all your sins will be brought out to you, your wife, your children, everybody's gonna bring it all out. So you're gonna know everything that's going on, that's what's going on in the household, which you're supposed to do already, but it'll bring it out in front of the priest.
Right. If there was issues in the house, you could deal with them in front of the priest. It destroyed that America pushes on you children. They push this sense of individualism on y'all. That yes, there's nothing wrong with being there's nothing wrong with being independent to be able to, do things on your own, but they push it to the next level where your independence is now predicated on not doing anything you were taught in the home, right? Oh, I'm independent when I go, and the thought is, when I can't wait to leave the house. I'm not saying this how y'all are thinking, but most kids, they can't wait to leave their parents' house. Why? They want to do their own thing, and usually their own thing is what? They ain't trying to go do no damn dishes, right? They're not trying to mop floors and do chores. Their own thing is wilding out, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's their own thing. Sitting back and doing nothing. No rules, no regulations, no restraint. So this right here killed that whole, I'm gonna go be an individual today, to the point where now I can't be told nothing. Nah, you gonna roll with us up here to the temple. And the priest is gonna look at you and see the filth in your eyes. Or see what's one of the big things that plagues our children today? Well, right, it's social media, right? But what is it from social media that they look for? Why do people get on TikTok and just do dumb things? Go ahead, I want the kids to speak. What else? Popularity, what else? Right, they're looking for that acceptance, right? And, there's a misunderstanding of what love is and what, when your parents are trying to guide you in a way, when they give you responsibilities, right? Chores and responsibilities, and they entrust you with these things. It's like oh, you just want me to do everything in the house and you ain't got to do nothing. It's part of it. That's part of it, right? I want you to do the things that I had to do because they helped to mold me to where if you weren't around and before you came on this earth, I was able to do dishes, cook, clean, empty trash, all these things that you're doing. But that's the love. That's part of it. Giving you the responsibility, because how does your parents love you if they don't show you the things that you're going to need going further or going forward? Excuse me. If you don't know when it's time to empty your trash in your own house, it's gonna smell like trash, right? Yeah. If you don't know that, okay, the dishes need to be washed nightly to avoid pestilence, you're gonna have pestilence. The parents are trying to show love by these things, and yes, keep you busy. Yes, keep your mind occupied. Yes, take some load off of their plate, right? I always tell my daughter, I'm like, listen, that phone bill ain't cheap. That phone ain't cheap, right? You like to sit on the phone and twiddle with the thumbs. I'm like, that phone ain't cheap. If I was to charge you for every meal and every gigabyte, right, you wouldn't be able to sustain. Them car rides, gas ain't cheap. And everybody you put inside the car, that adds to the load and that makes the gas burn more. Right? So I got to break it down to my kids so they can understand, like, I did this. I got this chore board at my house. It's a chore board, and and everybody got chores every single day. They came. They were like, "Can we? If we do everything, can we go to In-N-Out Burger?" And I'm like, "So I got to pay y'all to do chores? I got to pay y'all to live clean?" Like, and they thought about it. They were like, "Huh?" I'm like, because most of these chores are like y'all's room, you guys' bathroom that you guys use. So I'm like, I gotta reward you to keep things in your area clean. And they thought about it. They were like, okay, you got us, no. And I was like, you know what? If y'all stick to it, I'll take y'all somewhere. I'll do something for y'all, just to keep them motivated. But I'm trying to show them the responsibility. And even with the chore board, some of the chores, they gotta work together. They have to work together. It's like one person can't mop unless the other person sweeps, right? But if you ain't ready to sweep, but I'm ready to mop, we got to get on the same page here. So we got to talk and figure it out and be in agreement. So I set some of these things up so they got to work together and talk to each other. And you got to put down the phone. You got to communicate and unify. And it sounds small, but it's a big thing. The more you get them away from themselves and get them dealing with each other, the more they can be sociable, the more they can problem solve. I'm trying to teach my kids how to problem solve, the older ones especially. Give them problems and say, okay, you come up with the pros and the cons. Make them make decisions for themselves using proper judgment. You see what I'm saying? It's those things, they're very important. So, I like this because it made the family have to come together a lot more than how we do it now, right? Everybody's kind of on their same page, on their own little thing, right? I got to go to work. Mom got to go to work. You got to go to school. And a lot of the times the kids are left, they're kind of left to themselves. And we know it says a child that's left to himself is willful and headstrong. So I like this. Speaking of, Monday, it's going to be a kids class. Just letting y'all know now. We got a lot of people online. Monday is going to be a class for like the teenagers. So tune in. Tune in, man. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Because they need it. We haven't done one in a while for like the kids, the teens. And I know there's a lot of them online. We got a few here. We got a lot of VA. So, I've been mulling this one over for a while. So, Monday that's going to happen. So, get your kids in here or get them online, get them watching. Just another reminder for the children, all right? Or for our young adults, because y'all ain't children. Y'all are young adults, all right? Go ahead, read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 19. Take heed to thyself thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest upon the earth.
Right. We were showing our children also to be selfless. Not selfish, but selfless. So you took them along with you to show them this is how you care for the next person.
Right.
This is how you be a brother's keeper. So think about it. It says raise them in the law. You didn't really have to speak this to them. You could just show them by example. But I don't want to go see the priest today. Okay, well, what's going on with you? Well, look, it's not about you. This is about not being selfish. This is about us doing something as a family for other people. Go ahead.
Verse 20. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he had promised thee, and shall say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh, thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusted after. If the place which the Lord thy God had chosen to put his name down to be far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which the Lord had given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou not eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it. Thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord.
Yeah, there's a video on, I think, Facebook, YouTube. Then they were like in one of these Asian countries. I don't want to say which one because I don't know. But they had this pot-bellied pig. And what did he have? An axe? He had like an axe in his hand, and he stood there and he just, and in one swipe, bow, cut the pig's head off, clean. But they didn't care about the pig. They wanted to catch the blood, to drink the blood. They just toppled them and just start catching the blood. They were scrambling. They wanted that blood because in them countries they eat that pig blood soup. That's a delicacy for them. But when it says the life is in the blood, that means the disease. That means all the things that animal dealt with. How does disease get administered through the body? Through the bloodstream.
Right.
Same thing with us. So whatever was in the blood of that animal, is that it? Then that's the one. Well, no, that's not the one. This pig was huge. This pig was so big, it took like 4 people to hold it.
Gracious.
It was a huge pot-belly, big boy. But the life is in the blood. The disease, the whatever this animal has been through, that resonates in that bloodstream. So again, another way for the Most High to keep us out of harm's way when it came to even the lawful things that we ate. Y'all see this?
God.
And what you're saying is so true because, like me, I'm sure other people do too, but when you go to the doctor and they do blood work,
right?
They come back with your labs and say, oh, you high on your potassium, your iron is like this, and and this is like that, and you need to.
Yep.
So they can see all that, right?
Yeah, they see all that. They see your liver, how well that's functioning. If you got glucose levels too high, they run all their tests. Think about it. Even when you get blood drawn, and they take, how much do they take, William, on like a blood draw, like a normal 1 vial? How much is 1 vial?
It's probably like maybe 10 cc's.
Right. Okay. And that don't sound like a lot. But when you get that blood draw, think about how weak you get. Right? And imagine if you get a couple of vials drawn, they're like, you can't drive yet. You got to sit back and chill, because that blood is important. Your blood is important, man. It carries a lot of information.
I never get weak. They've been taking my blood since 2000.
You're probably used to it. I get weak. I get weak in the knees.
They still take.
That ain't it. They decapitated his head clean. It was a video. Right, but you know, if you're not used to doing that, yeah, you know, that's why like boxers, Manny Pacquiao, he was on that a lot. He was like, nah, y'all can't take my blood before the fight. You're gonna weaken me. It does weaken you. It does take away from you, even the littlest amount. You know, they pull that out of you. They taking some of that life from you.
It might weaken you, like if you donate blood.
Even that, yeah.
That's when you get like weakened.
Yeah.
Because they take a lot from you.
Oh, okay.
At one time, you know.
Yeah.
They have a big old.
How much?
What they call them? I don't know what they call them.
Uh-huh.
But you know, they be loading the big old sacks.
Right, those bags, the IV bags or something?
Yeah, that's when you get weak.
Yeah, those like what, pints?
Yeah, they take a pint.
They take a pint at a time?
Yeah, pint.
Don't you have like, what you got in your body, 6 pints?
No, it's like
12? Oh. Yeah, I'm not giving up a pint. I'm good. I need all my ounces, right? Because it ain't easy to make blood these days. Them platelets are very, very rare. Right? Anyway.
God. Yeah, they be sure trying to get mine about two talking about O positive.
Oh, is that what you are?
Yeah.
What is that? That's rare, ain't it?
Yeah,
Like,
Larry.
yeah.
I said, no,
Yeah.
thank you.
You need all that because it's rare.
No, thank you.
That's why.
What if you get hurt? Who's going to give you some?
Thank you.
Come on, go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, we're on verse 20. When the Lord thy God shall, well, I think we,
21.
21, yeah. Thank you.
No. You got 25.
Wow. I got distracted like that.
Yeah.
Verse 25. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. Only thy holy things which thou hast, and thy vows, thou shalt take, and go into the place which the Lord shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God. And the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of the Lord thy God. And thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words.
And also, you're not supposed to eat that, you know, just like you go to them restaurants and they say, you know, medium rare, you eat it medium.
Right.
You eat it rare because that's where the flavor is. That's where the germs are. That's where the sickness is. You got to cook your meat. You got to cook the meat through. I mean, the flavor just comes from seasoning.
Yes, sir.
Right? I don't want it to taste like what the cow ate. I want it to taste like the seasons I put on it. So
Yes, absolutely.
rosemary and some butter on a steak, that's what I want it to taste like.
Absolutely.
Right. So you gotta cook your meat, you gotta cook your chicken, you know, you gotta cook your, I hate to say it, but even the unlawful foods that some of our people eat, you gotta cook them. But the thing with the unlawful foods, even with the pig, no matter there are bacteria and parasites in a pig, no matter how high of a temperature you cook it, some of those bacteria can't be killed. Trichinosis worm, that's not gonna just be killed with a little light sear. Flip. It's not gonna be killed when you throw it in the oven on 425. So that's why you're not supposed to eat these things. So, you know, cook your meat, cook your eggs, like eating raw eggs, like, oh yeah, it's more protein, it pumps you up. Nah. Cook your eggs. What else? What else people eat raw?
Sushi.
Fish. Yeah. Oh, come on. Listen, I seen this dude in Hawaii. He had the damn salmon, and he cut that. He filleted that salmon. Boom. And you would think that it was bones in the salmon because the bones are white. It was worms that were just looking like they were resting alongside the bone. And then when you look and you look deep into the flesh, right? You can pull the worms out, and they'll look like, oh, that's a worm, and you keep pulling that sucker.
Yes.
And it's like an accordion. It like strings back like a rubber band. Pop! You're like, oh.
That's right.
Yeah, because those animals, they get parasites, man, like any animal. Think about a cow sitting on the farm. They got flies that just lay eggs on them. Just lay eggs in their flesh and just lay eggs and lay eggs. The cow has the purification of the inside to purify from all that, but the outside It's filthy. You know, so yeah, there it is. So there's all types of parasites in the food, especially in the flesh of these animals that we eat. Think about it. A lot of us, listen, 99% of us is running around with parasites right now. Right up in your gut, right up in your fatty muscles, right up in that fatty liver you got, because we got to do more detoxing and you know, even if you do the natural foods, the natural fruits, think about it. Again, they got the worms and strawberries. They got worms and apples. Wasn't always a big thing. Back in the day, it would be a cartoon of an apple and the worm would be sitting on top of it.
Absolutely.
Because they're synonymous. Anything that grows on a tree is going to have some type of parasite. Right? So even ingesting the eggs, and those things latch onto your little intestine walls, and they multiply millions at a time. Egg larva, tapeworm larva and trichinosis larva, they multiply by the minute, millions. And you flush a lot of that stuff out, but a lot of that stuff, man, is trapped in your gut. When they busting, you watch these videos and they busting people's guts open, and they go into that small intestine, and it looks like a duster, like it's just full of stringy things, and they're pulling out worms. That stuff is real.
It is.
That stuff is real. When they say them worms go to your brains, they do go to your brain. They make people go crazy.
Yeah, and they feed on like those worms. They'll feed on a lot of sugary things, and you get those cravings.
Yep.
Like I have a cousin that he eats everything. He was like, man, I spent $500 on food, and I just got paid. And he was like, I'm still hungry. I'm eating my wife's food. He was like,
yeah, they can't gain weight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is those worms, they don't like bitters. So that's what kills them.
The herbs.
So anything that's bitter, like
ginger,
lime water, ginger.
Yeah, lime, ginger, pineapple. Yeah, and that's what papaya. And that's the thing, like daily. Flaxseed, yeah, them fibers. You know, daily you should be taking some type of bitter herb or just some type of herb in general to, again, mitigate the effect of a lot of these parasites. And, you know, if you do it daily, you do something daily, you get on a regimen, you'll eliminate the toxins and the parasites from your body. But you gotta do it daily. I try to take my regimen daily, at least something per day, some type of herb, some type of ginger, some type of turmeric, daily to help. Cause I can feel it sometimes, man. If I'm getting into a tailspin and eating all them pizzas, you know that I love pizza. I mean, I ain't gonna front. I like food, huh?
Meat lover.
Blah, that meat lover. No, right? Well, I like pizza. I like pizza. I like just like any red-blooded Israelite. We like to eat. We like to eat. We like to drink. But it's just you have to balance out. Oh, another thing we're doing too, while we're on the subject, we're gonna start the juice fast again. Why you smile like that? Why you smile like that? You look guilty.
So now I know I can't finesse my way out.
No, we're gonna do another. We did a 3-day juice fast, and we did it 3 days just to get brothers acclimated. Sisters can do it too. Brothers and sisters acclimated with just some of us have not fasted ever, so just to get us acclimated with fasting, the feeling, the 1 day hunger, the 2 day hunger, that 3 day hunger is a beast. But then that's when you get over the hump. See. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody's not used to it. So we did 3 days. We're gonna go back on Sunday night. We said, right? Sunday night. This Sunday coming, which is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Right. And we're gonna go from Sunday night to Thursday night.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
That makes it 4 days.
Yeah. Sunday night to Wednesday night. Just juicing. Yeah. Juicing, salads if you want to eat something.
Or is it Thursday night?
It's Thursday night. We talked about it. It's Thursday night. Sunday night to Thursday night, juicing, salad if you want to eat some salad. Try to cut the bread out, the starch, the high fructose corn syrup. Check your salad dressings. They all got high fructose. So make your own. Balsamic vinegar, red, some olive oil, some salt, some pepper. You're good to go. Tastes just like Olive Garden. right?
Speaking about worms, let me tell you the fish that, man, he's known for carrying. That's the drum.
It's called a drumfish?
Yes. He's known for, and the way you find out, because I cleaned one before. As soon as you cut his head off,
Oh, they're right
his
there.
gills loaded.
Yeah, they're right there.
They loaded.
I heard
So
about
you
that.
know, they known like that, man.
Yeah.
I cleaned one for my dad. I said, Dad, come and let me show you something. He wanted that drum so bad. I said, Dad, look.
Is it a lawful? Is it a lawful fish? Did I say
Yes,
it
it
was a
is.
fish?
But,
Oh,
it's,
okay.
but it's especially during summer. If you catch some of them during winter, most likely you're not gonna see it. Because I see it once with them in summer, I don't want to touch them that fish in the nostril.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, that fish right there is very well known. Drumfish is loaded with it. They loaded with it. Especially when the amount of size he is like that, he just loaded with it, man.
Yeah. And that's just some animals, man. They attract parasites because of what they eat. That they like that fat. That's why we carry a lot of parasites right up in our tissues.
I just want to say, like, we're talking about the parasites and the bugs and stuff. It's in the fruit, and I found one because we've been juicing, and like you can sometimes just put a whole fruit in the juicer.
Right.
But you want to bust it open because we cut through an orange, and the orange had a couple of worms crawling around in the middle of it.
There was no breakage of the skin.
It didn't look like it. We made a video of it because we're like, damn, we didn't even know this was here.
You peel your oranges?
Nah, sometimes I do the
skin
with the hair, right? I do too.
Yeah.
So you want to bust it open just to make sure.
Yeah.
Tastes like lemon.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable because of the fact that the way things are handled and who's handling it. So it's unavoidable. But my thing is, if I'm putting it in the juicer, it's gonna die anyway. Anyway, let's read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 12.
They were like, huh? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 28. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever. When thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Most High thy power. When the Most High thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them.
Another reason why he said destroy their groves, altars. Go ahead.
After that, they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods?
Yeah, the curiosity, that concupiscence, right? That curiosity killed the cat. Like, man, I wonder how they served their God. Oh, they went up to the mountain. They got butt naked and jumped off it. Oh, okay, that's how you do it. Oh, well, let's go try that. Oh, skinny dipping, bungee jumping, right? Oh, but no, there was way more to it. There was way more to it. You had to go up there, sacrifice. Man, when you watch I was watching that Troy, the series. They got the movie Troy, but I was watching the series, and the only way they can go to war was that one of the kings had to sacrifice his daughter. And where did he take her? Took her to the high mountain, and then you could overlook the whole sea. And the altar's right there. It was almost like Isaac and Jacob type of situation. She was like, Dad, where's the sacrifice? And then he looked at her like, and he started tearing, and then she was like, Daddy, no, and then she was like, you know what? Just do it. And he just right there on them high places, on them high mountains. Serving these other gods, man. Go to Psalms 106 and 35 real quick.
They did it on the Avengers too.
They did it on the Avengers?
Remember that one of the stones that they had to get?
Yeah.
You had to sacrifice.
Oh,
but,
Thanos.
But you had to go to that hill.
High mountain.
You had to go to that high mountain, see that weird dude.
He threw Gamora off the mountain.
That is right.
The Soul Stone. That's what it was.
Soul Stone, yeah.
He went to that high mountain, and he threw her off the mountain to get the Soul Stone. Yeah. He said it. You got to give up a soul. Psalms 106:35. Read that.
Psalms 106 verse 35.
Go ahead.
But were mingled among the heathen.
Right.
And learned their works.
Right.
And they served their idols.
You see that? The works of the heathen, we learned how to serve their idols. We weren't supposed to. We weren't supposed to inquire into Buddha. We weren't supposed to inquire into Christianity. We weren't supposed to inquire into Jehovah Witness, Seven-Day Advantage, Islam, Feng Shui, White Witch. That Feng Shui, they are pushing that hard on YouTube.
There's different ones now.
Them Feng Shui bracelets.
What is that?
Bro, they got these 15-minute commercials on YouTube. You be watching class,
okay.
and they're talking about how her life went into a tailspin, and she got the bracelet, and it Feng Shui, and the priest blessed it, and she touched it, and all of a sudden she got rich. They're pushing that hard. So the Feng Shui. Again, I thought Feng Shui was just the way you arrange furniture. To let the air flow and get some sunlight. That's what I thought. I thought it was like your style was impeccable.
Well, it is that too.
It's part of
Now
it, right?
Yeah, but now they've incorporated this other element of feng shui.
Or that other element was there and nobody tapped into that, because no matter what, it goes back to Chinese Buddha, the Chinese temple, and those ancient priests in China. That's what that goes back to. So you know, you weren't supposed to inquire into Rastafarianism. What other religions is there? Oh, I'm just spiritual. Okay. Well, the devil is a spirit. Right? He's spiritual too. But at least he got the fear of the Most High. Right? We weren't supposed to inquire and learn the works of the heathen.
That's right.
Catholicism. Forgot that one. Oh, how could I? How could I forget Catholicism? Ooh, that got our people all wrapped up. You said what? Dagon, right?
So you got.
Oh, what you got? There's a lot of religions, man.
You got the Protestant, the Adventist, the Anabaptist, the Angelical, the Baptist, the Calvinist, the Evangelical, the Holiness, the Lutheran, the Methodist.
And that's just Christianity, right?
Pentecost.
That's just Christianity. Wow. Yeah. But we weren't supposed to inquire. We were mingled, but we weren't supposed to learn the works of these religions. And all the other things that our people worship. Go ahead.
Oh,
read on, Lewis.
Which were a snare unto them.
Because they're what?
A snare unto them.
This is where our people get snared.
Yep.
This is where they get snared in that church. You get snared in that Islam. You get snared because there's no salvation there for you. At the end of the day, they're not. This is the basis. They're not teaching you who you are according to the Bible, and they're not teaching you where you're about to go. If they're not teaching you who you are, like we had the one bro in Street Speaking. He was like, my pastor teaches me who I am. I was like, oh, for real? I said, y'all celebrate Thanksgiving? He was like, yeah. I was like, he ain't teaching you who you are. He ain't teaching you who you are for real, for real. He's giving you, if he is telling you that you're an Israelite, how come he's not telling you that the people that died in Thanksgiving are Israelites too? And why would you celebrate their death?
Exactly.
That shut them down. You know, all the holidays, the Christmases and the New Year's is, yes ma'am, sis. Yep. Uh-huh. Right. Well, remember, in Antioch, what was a Christian at that time? What were they literally following? Right, and and who was it? Was it the whole world? Was it the Pharisees, or was it the apostles? It was the apostles. It was the apostles, and whoever they taught, they were literal followers of Christ. Right? Now, you got Christianity that came along, which is the religion Christianity, right? They weren't Barnabas and these guys, they weren't a religion. They were called that because of what they were doing. Yeah, it was. Well, it was because of what they were doing. They were following Yahweh Shai. They were walking like Christ. So they call them Christians, right? Now, Christianity today, what that got to do with Yahweh Shai? What that got to do with Christ? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
Back then, was it meant to be derogatory, or was it?
No, it wasn't derogatory. They were following Christ. It's like, hey, y'all following Christ. And it could have been depending on how they looked at Yahweh Shai. I mean, how did they look at Yahweh Shai? They didn't really take too kind to him, right? The whole thing was to not mention his name. If you mention his name, think about the apostles that mentioned his name. They got beat, right? Stephanus got stoned. Paul chased around every city preaching Christ. So yeah, it wasn't a derogatory type of connotation, but we understand what were they literally doing. They were literally following Yahweh Shai. The apostles, the 12, they were Christians. They walked, they said, we follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Right?
And you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because now when you look at the Christian church, they don't follow.
Right. They make their own way.
Yeah.
And how do we know? Well, because you have Seventh-day Adventist, you got non-denomination, Baptist, Buddhist, Baptist, you got homosexual Christian churches.
You got over 30,000 different denominations out of the Bible.
Right. So you see where they're not about Christianity is just the title of that religion. And it's all Christianity, because Catholicism is Christianity. Rastafarian is Christianity. It's all Christianity broken up into different beliefs. Because think about it, the Rastafarians use the same King James Bible you use. They just rip apart scriptures and misuse the Bible. The Buddhists, not the Buddhists, I keep saying Buddhists. The Baptists, the Seventh-day Adventist, the Jehovah's Witness, they all use some form of the scriptures, right? As opposed to like the Buddhists and the Hindus, they don't use the Bible for their religion. They go into their own doctrines. The Ethiopians.
I was in Jehovah's Witness for a minute. I wasn't a big one, but I started just checking it out. They got their own little Bible there, man.
Yeah, the NIV. They were rocking with the NIV, and they got the Watchtower. Right, the NWT. They've been having Bibles since they came out, and revising the New World Revised. Wow. So they have a few Bibles that they use in Jehovah's Witness, and then they have the Watchtower, and then they got the people that go around with their own mind teaching whatever they want to teach. So going back to the question, they were literally following Christ and his teachings. That's why they call them that. The churches, they're following their own thing. How do we know? Because, again, they have homosexual churches. The pastors, right? Go to, check it out.
You got a Bible called Queen James.
Yeah, for them homosexuals, man.
Wow.
Right.
My
Queen James. Oh, and they take out, they take out the Romans chapter 1. They take out the Deuteronomy. They take out the Leviticus about homosexuality. They say, oh, David and Jonathan had a gay relationship. Songs of Solomon is pornographic. They go into all that filth, man. And that's how we know that they're not real Christians. They're not real Christians in the sense of following Yahweh Shai. Go to, real quick, go to Jeremiah. It's funny, I was up reading last night in Jeremiah. Go to, there's some filthy ones right here. Go to Jeremiah 23 and verse 11. Jeremiah 23 and verse 11.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
For both prophet and priest
Read.
are profane.
They're what?
Profane.
Yeah, they're profane, man. They're not Christians in the sense of what the apostles were. Peter was a Christian. He followed Yahweh Shai. He followed him. Go ahead.
Yea, in my house have I found their wickedness.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery waves.
Go ahead.
In the darkness.
Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14, I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem.
Come on.
And horrible things.
Right.
They commit adultery.
They do what?
They commit adultery.
So you know what's crazy? We talked about Hollywood. They teach you everything that you need to see behind the scenes. All you got to go do is jump on Netflix and watch the little series called Greenleaf.
Oh yeah.
Right? Greenleaf is about Christian pastor and his wife, and then they have a son that's an upcoming pastor and a daughter that's an upcoming pastor, but she left to go be a whore and stripper, then to come back to teach, but still kind of do those same things. Like, but they're telling you what they're about, telling you what the church is about, right? But then the scriptures say it too. So it's not anything made up. So are they Christians in the sense of the word? No, they're not, because they're not following the scriptures. They'll tell you that 10 Commandments is done away with. It's like, wait a minute, so I'm not supposed to honor my mother and my father no more? Like, damn. I'm not supposed to love my neighbor as myself. Like the Big Ten, I'm supposed to be covetous now? The psychology that they put on our people.
First thing you even say about first commandment says thou shalt serve no other God. So I can serve other gods.
Oh yeah. According to Christianity, you can. According to Christianity, now you can, because the Old Testament is gone. It's done away with. Read.
And walk in lies.
They do what?
And walk in lies.
Go ahead.
They strengthen also the hands of evildoers.
Wait, they do what?
Strengthen also the hands of evildoers.
Listen, this is talking about the pastors. How do they strengthen the hands of evildoers? Well, they don't tell them to stop doing evil. They don't tell them to walk like real Christians. They say, hey, come as you are, and if you want to change, that's on you. Come as you are, stay as you are. It's never Colossians 3:9, put off the old man, put on the new, renewed in the knowledge of Christ. We were talking about it yesterday. There was a question that was asked yesterday about, we were going into the crucifixion, and right before when they captured, what nation of people captured Yahushua and put him to death? And, obviously the Bible tells you it was the Jews, right? Under, Pilate beat them, handed them over to us. We scourged them, and then we hung them. It was us. It was on our hands. But there was another question in there, and to get the understanding, you had to go to the Old Testament, the law. They referred to, they wouldn't kill a man. It wasn't lawful to kill a man on whatever day it was. To get the understanding, you had to go to the Old Testament. So if the Old Testament was done away with, you'd be left wondering, like, wait a minute, what law is that? And why were they in the New Testament keeping the law if it was so done away with? And then who done away with it? Who came up and said, oh, the law's gone? You see the point? You see the point where they'll tell you, yeah, you don't have to use that part of the book. The law is not needed to govern your life. Where, okay, so I always ask a person that says the law is done away with, so is it okay for me to make my daughter a whore? Is that okay now? I'm not saying I'm going to go do it, but it says, don't let your daughter be a whore. Don't let your son be a sodomite. So those things are okay now? According to God? The Most High okay those? Like, yeah, all the daughters of Zion could be whores. Oh, and the guys, they could be women whore too. Like, he didn't okay that. So, we're not being taught the full thing, the full story, the full Bible in church. Again, you got some churches like Seventh-day Adventist. They believe in the Sabbath. They don't celebrate holidays, but they don't keep the feast days all the way. I think they do Passover, but they don't keep the feast days like that. And they definitely ain't telling blacks and Hispanics that they're the real Israelites. They definitely ain't doing that. Jehovah Witness, right? They don't do birthdays. They don't do holidays. But they telling you that you're supposed to be a slave. That slavery was the black man's curse, when that's not the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They go through and try to show you through the Bible, like, see, cursed be Canaan, but we're not Canaanites. We're not Ham, we're Shem, so they got that wrong.
I tried to share that with a cousin of mine that's with 7 Day, like you just said, and she's sitting there, dear back, and said, lose all of what I sent you, like email,
Oh,
message out there,
lose her number?
Yeah, lose
my number.
Yeah, lose that shit because
I love
what
that.
she's trying to tell me is that it's not about Christ, it's just about a man now. When I was trying to share with her who she was, the focus not supposed to be on me, it's supposed to be on Christ. Duh. I didn't. Did you hear me say it wasn't? What I was trying to share with you was what the truth was about yourself and what the Bible speak about why we going through what we going through. And another thing I want to speak on was this, what you just said was that since they said that the Old Testament done away with, because I hear the Christians say this a lot, especially my family. Well, the Old Testament, that died with Christ, okay? And now it's Christ in the New Testament. Well then, if that died with Christ, why do you constantly hear Christ, when he speak to people that come speak to him, you see, why he constantly say, it is written, have you not heard? That's talking about the Old Testament, when he say that. So, they theory, if you sit there and listen to it, and if you don't find out the truth for yourself, through this word, through teaching that y'all give, you'll be confused. Not confused, you'll be confused.
Right, and we know the only thing that died with Christ was the death of the law.
Exactly. Sacrificial.
The death of the law and the shedding of blood is what died. It wasn't that the law itself was done away with. It was the death of the law, where if I committed adultery and I was found with witnesses, I didn't have to be put to death. And Yahweh Shai showed that with the woman that was taken in adultery. He without sin cast the first stone. Right? So we know that's what was done away with. Finish that real quick.
That
Oh,
none.
somebody had their hand up?
No.
Oh, sis. Go ahead, Samuel.
You finish that.
Okay, go ahead. Finish that up and then we'll...
That none doth return from
Right.
his wickedness.
Go ahead.
They are all of them unto me
Right.
as Sodom.
They're what?
Unto me as Sodom.
They're what?
As Sodom.
How is Sodom? Sodom is destroyed. Sodom is gone, right?
Yeah.
That nation was destroyed for its filth. He said they're like Sodom, meaning I'll drop brimstone on you real quick and not think nothing of it. I'll rescue who I gotta rescue, and I'll hail on you. Fire.
They got something on Netflix on. I haven't watched it yet.
Uh-huh.
They got something on Netflix about that too.
About Sodom and Gomorrah? Talking about, were they talking about like the sulfur?
I hadn't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Is it a documentary or a... Oh yeah, they're about to go in and show you like nothing grows. It's all sulfur. Watch. Because that's how Sodom and Gomorrah looks right now. The same way it was left when the Most High rained down brimstone. Go ahead.
And the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah.
Right. You see that? Why? Because they're not preaching the Christian church. They're not preaching against these things. They're allowing it now. You got your T.D. Jakes. He's talking about, and he's a prominent black pastor. What's he talking about? Oh, we got to ease up on the homosexuals and give them a pass and let them in and welcome them. Fine. Fine. I get it. They got to get taught because when you look at it, they do have to be taught, right? Every sin can be forgiven except for the sin of blasphemy. So a man can walk in this door right now as a homosexual and get that spirit took up off him, right? And we got to just roll with that. Just like the murderer, just like the killer, just like the pork eater, just like the prideful person. It's all spirits, right? So you do got to give them a chance, but our thing is, go to Colossians 3 real quick. Our thing is, you ain't just going to come in and just spread your homosexuality amongst the congregation.
That's right.
What are you going to follow? Well, you got to be a Christian. You got to walk like Christ. He wasn't on that.